Hello everyone and welcome to TIP Annual Conference 2022, themed The Parenting Advantage. We're bringing you coaches from all over the world, from Nigeria, Australia, Germany, Canada, the USA, and the United Kingdom, even India. Get ready, your mind will be blown, your parenting game will be lifted high. You want to be a part of this. My name is Joy Unspeakable, and I am the official MC of the Intentional Parents Academy. See you.
I'm Wale Akinola. I'm my wife.
Ano Akinola.
All right. So we joined the inner circle of TIP. We joined from the level 1, of course, at a time when we realized that our children, haven't gotten to the teenage years, that we needed knowledge. My wife is a specialist in early childhood education, and we kind of got the early years under wraps. But as we were approaching the teenage year, it was obvious to us that we needed to, get into get to knowledge, get the knowledge that we require to help us to move through that terrain. And my wife encountered Coach Wendy. We joined TIP, we joined the inner circle, level 1. From level 1, we graduated to level 2. And it's been awesome. You encounter things and you realize, just thank God that God brought Coach Wendy our way. I'm sure my wife will want to add to that.
Oh, sure. It's been an interesting journey. The community is fantastic. You get to learn a lot. You see, a lot of times as parents we think, we know what to do, we have it all under cover. But when you come into the TIP, you know that you do not know, because there's something to learn every day, and it changes not just your children but you as a person. Sincerely, it is hard work. If you intend to join the academy, you are coming there not to just be a loafer, just somebody to watch. You are going to have to put in the work. But I can tell you that if you just put in, not just everything, you might not do everything that is there, but if you just commit to doing some of it, I tell you, even with the sum that you do, because there's a lot to be done, even with the sum that you do, you can see that there's a change. Your children will thank you. Their generation will thank you. I don't even think you should think about it. Just go for it. TIP is a place to be. Follow person with no road.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. Welcome. My name is Joy Unspeakable, and I am your moderator for today. Welcome to the TIP Annual Conference Day 3. If you're excited, I need the fire emojis in the house. Fire emojis. You know how we do it. Yadas, are you here? Fire emojis. Keep dropping them. How was the last session? How was day two? My highlight was Coach Ebuka's session. Thank you so much for having me this evening. Thank you to the TIP team. Thank you for Coach Wendy of Life, the Bishop of Parenting herself. Thank you for the privilege of being here. Thank you. I don't take this for granted. I honor you. I love you. Thank you, Ma. So, what was your highlight for today? We've had three amazing sessions. What was your highlight? Drop in the comment section your highlights. I want to read out your highlights for today. Drop in the comment sections. Okay. Jenny says, Umunna yadas kwenu kwezionu. In the welcome. Comment. We like your feedback. Yes, I'm here. Mawume, yes, it's joy unspeakable. The legacy you leave for your children should be a legacy of kinship, and it doesn't come cheap. That must have been Coach TY. No. She came with all the fire. She came with fire. Yes. All right. What was your take home? A coach without a coach is a cockroach. Coach TY, I don't know where these coaches come, where they bring these quotes from. So many. Coach Wendy, we need to have a TIP quote book. That's for sure. Parenting is not for loafers. We need to have that, a quote book. So quickly, I'm going to talk about the TIP Inner Circle program. I'm a part of the TIP Inner Circle program, and trust me, it's a life-changing program. If you're not there, I don't know what you're doing. You snooze, you lose. This intentional parenting gospel must be preached all over the world. And how we do it is to be in the inner circle. You cannot parent with the knowledge your parents parented you. You have to move. You cannot be in that same space. If you're still there, move. Like Coach Ebuka will say, mommy, upgrade. All right, we're going to take a quick review of the inner circle, TIP inner circle. Quick review. Let's have it.
Hi everybody, good evening. My name is Mrs. Loretta Itama. I have been a Yada for 7 months now. Yadas are members of the Inner Circle or the Intentional Parents Academy now. TIP has been a game changer for me, not just as a mom, but as a person myself. I've learned to go from a place of yelling to a place of calm. I've learned the discipline that works. I've learned about my children's temperament, their love languages. Oh my God. Imagine having to hug a child like 12 times a day. It's not easy, but like Mama Cathedral will always say, don't come to the inner circle with your expectations. We are the expectations. Like, I'm proud to be a Yada any day, anytime.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a Yada too. All right, welcome back. How has this conference been for you? For me, it has been week dropping, fireful. How has it been for you? How has it been for you as we await our speaker for today? How has it been for you? Are you dropping those comments? How has it been? This is day 3. How has it been for you? What has changed? Do you have your notes? Have you booked a session? Have you booked a slot for our Inner Circle program for 2023? 2022 is already packed full. If you don't book a session for 2023, you might wait for 2024. You might have to wait for 2024. All right, so we await our speaker for today. Our speaker for today is Uncle Owe. We're going to quickly take his bio, and then when we're back, you'll see Uncle Owe. Get ready, pick up your pen and your jotter, and be ready. Take it away.
Owe is passionate about seeing teens and youths get rescued from cultism and ensuring that students avoid his mistake of being a cult member as an undergraduate. He had risen to become one of the leaders of a school cult group. After successfully leaving the group, he had used his experience over the years for the benefit of today's youth and teens, teaching them the dangers of these nefarious acts, as well as exposing the activities of various groups and how students will be students, and campus newbies can avoid the mistake of belonging to any confraternity. He has personally taken the crusade to a lot of secondary schools, tertiary and post-tertiary schools in Nigeria. He has one clear message: cultism is evil. You can be free. He is now a committed follower of Christ, an accomplished professional, a faithful husband, and a dedicated father.
Hello, Uncle Wei. Hello, Uncle Wei. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Welcome to the TIP Annual Conference 2022. I'm super excited to be hosting, to be moderating this particular session. Uncle Wei, I've known you for quite a while, and the first time I heard your story, he choked. Like they would say in Nigeria Palace, I was shocked. And I cannot wait for you to share all that you have with us. When I first met Uncle Wei and I heard his story, I could not relate the two. Uncle Wei, you look like that very good child. Those kind of children that they will say, oh, this child is a good child. So Uncle Wei is going to be sharing his story with us. And then after he shares with us, we're going to come back and we'll have questions for him and all of that. Uncle Wei, I can't wait to hear the story. Please don't keep the juice for us. All the parents are ready. We're ready to hear your story. You have 45 minutes to share with us. Thank you, sir, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Joy Unspeakable. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching from. First, I want to appreciate Coach Wendy for this great opportunity and for this privilege to speak to our parents. This year's TIP conference, the theme has been the parenting advantage. That means there's an advantage in parenting. This evening, I've been asked to speak on how to raise children devoid of peer pressure. In the year 2000, Time magazine, a very popular magazine around the world, we are looking for the most significant person that have stepped on planet Earth in the last 100 years. And they went around presidents, inventors, and they arrived at one tiny man. His name is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein said the significant problems that we face cannot be solved at the same level we're at when we created them. What that means is that if you create a problem at level A, you must move on to level B to be able to solve the problems of level A. This evening, I'm not going to be teaching. I'm going to be having a frank conversation with us, and I'm going to be telling us how we can get it right, and what we can do. I'm going to be starting by telling my own story. My own story is very scary, and is very complicated, but I'm going to be saying my story. After that, I'm going to be saying how I left the cult group. I'm going to be telling us how I left the cult group, what my parents would have done differently that would have prevented me from being a part of that group. And I'm going to also speak about curative measures. If someone is already in the cult group, what can the person do to break free? So I'm going to be speaking on those three activities. But before we start, I'd like to quickly inform us that nothing determines success like the kind of association that we have. No matter how good a child is, if he has the wrong association, the child will be automatically bad. In fact, apart from God, the greatest help that we need in life is also the kind of friends that we keep. Our friends determine what becomes of us in this life. Your friendship is your life ship. Your friendship is your destiny ship. When the devil wants to destroy you, he brings the wrong association. And when God wants to help you, the right association will also come. So this evening, we are going to be having a fun conversation. Like you have been told, I am an ex-cultist. I was initiated into a secret society known as Black Arts Confraternity in the year 2002 as a 200 level student in the university. And first of all, I'd like to say that my environment greatly influenced the kind of life that I found myself living. I grew up in a Christian home where you wake up, everything is structured. You wake up at 5 a.m., you pray, you read the Bible, you sing, you dance. Every Wednesdays you must be in church, Sundays you must be in church. I grew up with a single mom because I lost my dad very early, and she did all she could to ensure that we turned up to become good children. But my environment was a determining factor to how I lived my life. I lived in an environment where we had a lot of cultists coming to the house as cousins, a lot of cultists as neighbors, and a lot of people that womanizes. So even while in high school, I already made up my mind that this is the kind of cult I want to join when I entered university. So I wasn't going to be forced. In fact, it was something I wanted, it's something I admired, and it was something I really, really wanted to do. So when I gained admission into the university, I had an accommodation problem. I had to live with some of my secondary schoolmates who were already members of a cult group known as Black Ask Confraternity, and it was very easy for them to convince me to come and join us. Now, when you join, all your problems will be solved. I remember the night we went for that, the night we were initiated. On that particular night, I think around 11 a.m. at night, we set off on a very long journey over 10 kilometers, if I can remember. And it got to a point, my friend gave me a dirty slap and said, after tonight, we are going to be equal. So carry me on your shoulders. I carried him on my shoulders for over 2 kilometers until we get to a place where they said, this place is called Angle 90. We dropped all our clothes and it was remaining just our shorts and the singlet that we were putting on. When we got there, they asked us to lie down facing the ground. And the people came to beat us with a whole lot of things. I remember I had a childhood friend who was here to get admission into the university. He also came to be initiated, and I told him, I remember his name very well. I said, why don't you go back? You're not yet in the university, you don't have anything to gain. He said, no, that he's going to join, want to blend, in that to gain an admission. But in the process of them beating us, he was mistakenly hit. He was hit on his head here, and he died in the process. And they dug the ground right in front of me, and they buried him. Fortunately for me, a lot of people came to beat. In fact, the essence is to beat you, to make you strong, because you are going to be a very hard man. And at the end, you hear, where are you from? Somebody will say, UNN, we're in Benin. Somebody will say, we all came from all over the country to be initiated into a secret cult group. And when my name was called to be initiated, there's a place they call Heaven's Gates. You are crawling on your stomach in the middle of the night. Everybody is waiting for you at the Heaven's Gates. You are breathing mercilessly before you enter into the temple. The temple is where you'll be initiated. When I got there, my tongue was cut, my blood was
Okay, hello everyone. It seems like Uncle always having some network glitch. I can tell you as I was listening, my mouth was just agape. It reminds me of what Coach Wendy always says: raising an obedient child is not enough because your child does everything you say. It's not enough. An obedient child, an unskilled child, is not enough. You need to imagine if Uncle Way had skills. He had a mother who was present, a mother who was not just telling him, "Oh, remember the son of whom you are." Remember the son of whom you are will not help. Auntie Coach TY broke all of that down for us in our session today about parenting with legacies. Parenting with legacies. I'm trying to remember the exact thing she said. All right, so we will. Okay, Uncle Obi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, welcome back. We lost you for a
Thank
bit
you.
there. Please continue.
All right, thank you very much. Like I said, we're asked to go into the temple where we'll be initiated. The temple is not a physical temple, actually, it's in the bush. And on entering there, my tongue was caught, and I was forced to make a vow that henceforth I'm going to serve their God, And any day I become an element of destruction, that life should be snipped out of me. After that, a mentor was placed on me and I was initiated. And a name was given to me, apart from the name that my parents had already given to me. So immediately after the initiation, people started coming to congratulate me. I said, congratulations, welcome to struggle. I said, what? You said struggle? You said once I join these things, all my problems will be solved. What is the struggle? Somebody told me that henceforth, I'm going to become like a fugitive. That what they do in this school, when they have problem with other courts, they count scores. So the other court, the rival court will be looking for how to hit this court. This court will be looking for how to hit that court. Sometimes you hear scores, you say 5-2. That means we'll keep 5 on the other side and they keep 2 on our side. That means I have to be very, very careful. If not, I'll be among the scores. Remember, I told you that a friend from the house died, and when he died, he was buried right there at the initiation ground, and his parents never knew his whereabouts. He was buried there, but I was lucky to survive. So I'm going to be looking at what could have my parents done differently. The first thing I would like to talk about is the fact that in the home where I came from, there was no structure. I had a lot of cousins coming to the house who were already in the university, were already in several tertiary institutions. They come in because there were no structures. They came in with their girlfriends. They belong to a different court and they do whatever they like. They were allowed to do whatever they like. Remember, I said my mom is a very good Christian, still a very good Christian, but she allowed these guys to influence us. So I looked at the kind of life they were living. I admired them and I wanted to become like them. So it was very easy for me to join this course. So there was no structure, and because there were no structure, it was easy for them to influence me and to influence my decision later on in life. I remember at a time, because of the several fights in the school, we went to somewhere in Asaba to do charms for disappearing and appearing. I remember we stayed 3 days in the bush with a man, and after the 3 days, he said we are good to go. So he said, whenever anybody tries to shoot us, we'll just disappear automatically. I said, okay, why don't you try it at us? He brought out his gun, shot at me, and I went into a trance. And when I opened my eyes, I saw myself in another place. So in my mind, I felt, oh, well, I can disappear. So when I got back to school, I told everybody that whenever there's a fight, I will be the one in front. So because I can bounce bullets, that was the word I usually use, and that I can bounce any bullet that comes, I will bounce it and I will disappear. So everybody believed in me. So when I got to 300 level, I was appointed as cabin. They call it cabin. Cabin is an acronym for chief busher. So whenever any fight wants to happen, it's a cabin that is in charge of it. So I was appointed as a cabin to go around looking for people. At the point, I was also appointed to go to various universities to try to recruit students that are matriculating. So we went to different schools. I remember at the time we went to Anambra State University in Igbare, all the way from Edo State. And on the matriculation day, we were able to convince some students to come with us. And they went with us and they were initiated. A lot of students that we initiated, we actually initiated on their matriculation day as new students. So one of the things that my mom could have done differently is that she would have had a structure in the house. Today I have a structure in my house. If you are coming to live in my house, you must wake up at 5 a.m. on Sunday. You must follow me to my church. You don't have any choice. You can't be sleeping. In fact, by 5:30, you must be in the car waiting for us to move to the church. So there was no such structure in our home. A lot of people came from all over the place to do a whole lot of things in the house, and they were not cautious. So we felt that that was the right thing to do. So, and apart from that, we didn't have a personal relationship with our mom. You know, I grew up in a kind of home where my mom was like the commander in chief. So whatever she says is all in all. So we couldn't confide in her. So when my friends started talking to me on the need to join their court group, I couldn't really confide in my mom because I know that once I confide in her, she's going to judge me. She's going to condemn me. So I couldn't really confide in her. So I kept it to myself, discussed with some of my other friends, and they encouraged me to go on. Each time I remember that incident, I usually remember what happens in the Bible concerning Amnon. Amnon was in love with his sister, and he had a very deep feeling for his sister. This is one of the men or guys that was in line to become the next king of Israel. Israel was one of the greatest cities at that time. He was in line to become the king of Israel, and the Bible said, but he had a friend. So he confided in his friend and said, man, this is what I'm going through. And his friend said, oh, why don't you pretend to be sick? Ask her to come and serve you and rape her. And he yielded to the advice of his friend. And because he yielded to the advice of his friend, his life was cut short. That was what almost happened to me. But I thank God today that I'm alive. I'm sharing my story to deliver others and to help others who are also in it. Another thing is that my mom was very, very quick to judge. She never ever listened to us. She was quick to judge. When you try to confide in her, the next thing she raises her voice. And I think every teenager has such problem with their mom. My mom will always raise her voice. Even when you try to tell her the truth, she doesn't want to listen. So that was one of the things that made me to confide in my friends, and I was led astray. Another thing that my mom could have done differently is she never praises good acts. No matter how much you try, they must find something that you didn't do right. They must always find something that is not right concerning what you have done. Even when you know that you've tried your best, they will find something that you have done. So it's a whole lot of them. And I had lacked a lot of self-esteem, a lot of self-esteem. In fact, I depended on my friends for approval to feel good. I depended on others for approval to feel good. So when I bring any suggestion, you tell me that this is what it is, I go with you. Now it got to a point that we started initiating girls. And to initiate girls is very, very horror and very, very horrible. For that of the girls, they don't beat them because actually there's nothing you plug in a girl. There's nowhere you beat in a girl. So what they do is that they bring out 20 boys and ask the 20 boys to sleep with the girl. And once they sleep with the girl, that is their initiation process. They are initiated, they are asked to make the vow that whenever they become an element of destruction, their life will be sniffed out of them. So basically is an horror. Another thing I would like to say that my mom would have done differently is that there was no proper follow-ups on the word of God. No proper follow-up. She preached to us in the morning, but there was no follow-up. I remember still as a child in the primary school, whenever they give us money, maybe 1 naira to do offering, on the way we change the money, buy something on the way, and use the remaining 50 kobo to give our offering. So there was no proper follow-up on the there was
Okay, it seems like Uncle Owe is having
we didn't have any
network
mentor in our
glitch. Uncle Owe, are
apologies.
you there?
Yes, I'm here. Apologies for
Okay.
the breaking network. I'd like to go on to how did I live. I was already a court member, and I remember in the year 2006, I attend Living Faith Church. We're having Shiloh in church, and my mom called to ask me, "Where are you?" I said I was in church, and she said, can she see me?" I said, "No, I want to concentrate on Shiloh." Meanwhile, I was still in Benin. We were going to do handing over. In the process of trying to do handing over, we were arrested by the police and with a lot of guns and a lot of dangerous weapons. And when we were arrested, we were taken to the police station. From there, we were taken to the state CID. And my mom was called and said, "Your son has been arrested." She said, "No, my son is in Lagos." I said, "No, mom, I'm right here in Edo State." That was how she came. We spent some time in the police cell. We were granted bail. Now, how did I live after being a member of Secret Court for all these years? After the bail, in the house, they have what they call zonal meetings. So I continued at home. Now I have graduated, I continued at home. I became a zonal rep in the school. Before I graduated, I rose to the position of what they call boy. That is the head. So I was the head. I was giving orders all around. And after school, I became a zonal rep, and I was representing my zone, zonal head. I was the zonal head, and a lot of people come to the house to greet me and all of that. My mom kept talking to me, kept praying for me, and kept advising me on the need to run away from that art. But it was difficult going back because I had already gotten used to that kind of lifestyle. I've already gotten used to drugs, to weed. In fact, I can't take tea without weed. I can't eat ordinary rice without, I have to mix it up with weed. I've already gotten used to smoking and doing a whole lot of dangerous things to myself. I've already gotten used to womanizing. In fact, womanizing was just an in thing, womanizing and robbing. In fact, it got to a point during school that I have to ask some boys to go to the highway, rob, bring the money, let's use it to buy some guns and some axe. But when I got home, I continued. And one day I was in church, and I remember that day I sat at Love Entrance, and something struck me, and I started crying. I cried too hard that day, and when they made the altar call, I came out and repented. But on my way home that same day, somebody called me and said there will be IT today. IT means intelligent talk. We have somebody that is known as a crier. The crier is like the publicity officer, the PRO. He called and said, "Sir, there will be IT today. That means there will be a meeting to the intelligent talk." And I told him that I was no longer interested. He said I have to be around. So after the meeting, I didn't attend. They came to the house to ask me what the problem was, and I told them that I think I have to turn a new leaf. That I was tired of living this kind of life. I was tired of being a fugitive, living at home for 1 week and running away for the next 1 month or 2 months because I don't want to be used to count scores. He told me that as a head, I'm not supposed to abandon them at this time. At that time, there was war going on, and I think they were counting 10-2. From my side, I think they said they've killed 10. The other side have killed 2, so that was the score, 10-2. I can't leave them at this time, that I have to continue. I insisted, I stood my ground that I'm not going to come back, and I was reported to the regional head. The regional head brought some boys to my house to match. They call it playing. They played me to the extent that I landed in the hospital. And I insisted, I stood my ground that I am not going to continue. And they asked me the reason. I told them that I wanted to live a changed life. Now, one of the things that I did was that I built my self-esteem. I never depended on others anymore to feel good, to appraise my self-esteem. I never depended on others. I built my self-esteem. I was able to say no, and I stood by my no. Now, one of the things that I also did was that I totally put away all of those things. If someone is already in court and you say you are going to leave the court and you are still having girlfriend, girls are still coming to your house to pass the night in your house, they will know that you are not a serious person and they will come after you. So I cut off all the relationship I had, and I told everyone, each of them, that I wanted to focus on my God. So I insisted. It was difficult. I kept praying to God. I kept running away. I kept moving from one place to another. The more I moved, the more they traced me. It was easy because we have zones all over the country. We have we have temples in all the universities across the federation, and each of these schools have their own name. And in most private schools too, we also have our temples in most private schools. So it was easy for them to trace me. I remember I left Benin, I went to Lagos to stay in Lagos. They located me right there in Satellite Town. I left Satellite Town to Pestac Town. They still located me. So it was really, really a difficult task, but God was able to see me through. I'm not going to remove the God factor in all of this. I insisted, I was beaten up, I was disgraced, I was embarrassed. Sometimes I will be walking on the road, my shoes will be removed, and they will tell me that until I come back, they'll keep embarrassing. They kept embarrassing me, but I stood my ground. Now, at this point, there was still war going on, but the other side saw that this guy was no longer associating with these people. So sometimes, even when they are fighting and I pass through that place, they say, leave him as a pastor. So I stood my ground and I insisted that I will never go back again. That was how I escaped. Now, if someone is already a member, what would a person do to get help? I think the first thing that anyone should do is to get a mentor. You get a mentor, look for someone that you can talk to. And this is very, very important, because if you get a mentor among your friends, they're still going to lure you back to where you are coming from. These days, it's almost difficult to find any guy who is not in a cult group or who does not belong to one society or the other. I remember in my school, I was the head of my cult group. I was an official of my fellowship. My choir master was my busher at one time. My drama leader was my chief priest from the same cult group, and all of us belong to the same fellowship, and we're all escorts in the fellowship. So it's not just enough to talk to your children. It's not just enough to preach to your children. You must do a proper follow-up. You must have a structure in your house. When you have a structure, automatically these children align. Yesterday, I was listening to Ebuka, and he said something about children waking up in the morning and they start playing games as early as 6 a.m. In fact, they was firing shot all over my house. So there have to be a structure in place in your house. The children should know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do from this time to this time. And if I'm not doing it, there should be a repercussion. Because if there's no repercussion for wrongdoing, then definitely the children will keep doing wrong. So they have to have a mentor. They have to get help. It's very, very important. One of the things that every court member fears is when they hear police or soldier. They know that they are fighting against the government. So when they hear the police or soldier, many of them run away. So if you get a mentor, the mentor will be able to lead the child aright, will be able to help the child. And of course, you have to distance yourself from these people. I was a member, it got to a point I had to relocate. They came after me. I relocated again. I kept insisting that I don't want, I wouldn't continue with them. And after some time, they let me be. So, and apart from that, you must be busy with fellowship. They must see that you are actually busy. I was busy with fellowship, but I was already a member before I was given the ESCO's position. So you must be busy with fellowship. Let them see that actually you are serving God, and you must be genuine in your serving God. It's not good for you. You can say you are serving God and you have a girlfriend that is coming to pass the night. They are seeing all of this things. They have spies everywhere. Even as you are speaking, they have spies everywhere. So you must be genuine in following God. You must be sincere. The truth is that if you want to leave any court and you are not genuine, the person can be killed. Remember, you made a vow that if you become an element of destruction, that life should be snipped out of the person. So the person can be killed if you are not genuine. The only way, the hardest part to leave court group is to go into the court group the same way you have entered. That means you pass through and go 360 and go 90. You go back to the temple. They'll put a mentor on your head and tell you to renounce. You will renounce right there in the court group. But you already know their secret. People that did that in the past were killed immediately because already the person is renouncing them and you made a vow before. So that is not advisable to go through that process in living, but you must insist. You must stand your ground. You must say no at all time, and you must be genuine and sincere. If you are not genuine and you are not sincere, they will definitely know that you are not genuine, and a whole lot of things will happen. Remember, I said at the beginning, the cause of a wrong association is a disaster for any individual. A lot of destinies have been destroyed. A lot of lives have been lost. I know thousands and thousands of lives that were lost. I remember at a point, there was a fight in school. They were trying to kill a particular guy, and the bullet didn't enter. And at a point, they started dragging him on the ground in a car, and his entire body was cut, was chopped into pieces. Now, when you enter into this secret society, when people enter into, they give them something to drink that makes you very hardened. You become very hardened. You can kill as many as 10 people, 20 people in a day, and you'll be celebrating that you are doing the right thing. So that is why, as much as possible, we must make our children our confident. It's very, very important. Our children should be able to tell us everything, and we must not judge them. We must understand from their own point of view. And that is why this conference is very, very important. Because for any child that has joined court group, there's a very slim chance for that child exiting that court group. It is virtually and very, very difficult for the child to exit court group. So it's better to prevent it than to try to correct it when it has gone far. For me, as a person, I think we should be on the toes of all our children right from secondary school. I have some children that I'm currently mentoring. Some of them are in JS2, some of them in JS3, and they're already in court groups right here in FCT. There's a whole lot of court activities going on in our secondary schools. As early as JS1, JS2, they are already in court group. What they do is that they bring a calabash to the various schools. They take them into an uncompleted building and make them to take a vow that they will be loyal to the court group, and that is it. These ones that have been initiated in these schools start going to other schools to initiate others, and it is a very, very terrible situation. And whenever they try to leave, they beat them up, they tear their books, seize their bags. Last week I was in the school in town, and one of the boys called me and said that they are dragging him into the bush. I said, why? He said because he is insisting that he doesn't want anymore. I went there, I spoke to the boys, and they let him be for the time being. This week they started disturbing him again. But so it's the best bet is to try to avoid this than to try to correct. But however, if anyone is already in it, the person should insist, should stand his ground and said, I don't want this thing anymore. I want to live this kind of life henceforth. I want to live for Christ. I want to live a pure life.
Uncle Uwe, are you there? Uncle Uwe seems to be having network glitches. The liar. We must hear this story. Parents must be woke.
No matter the threat, no matter the intimidation, no matter the bullying, stand your ground.
Welcome back, Uncle Uwe.
All right. Thank you very much. Apologies again for the network glitch. like I said, the cause of wrong association is a disaster for any individual. And the Bible cannot be underlooked. It said, they that walk with the wise shall be wise, and the companions of fools will not be unwise, but will be destroyed. That is what the Bible said. I'd like to anchor there. And if there's any question, we'd like to take the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Uncle Wei, for sharing with us. Thank you for taking time out to share these deep things with us. I am sure that parents right now, some people are screaming, Jesus. Some people are screaming, God forbid. Do not forget, like Coach says, that God forbid is not a parenting strategy. Would allow Uncle Wei quickly take a water break, and then we take this quick review.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Uncle Wei, we'd like you to take a water break, and then we have a commercial break, after which we'll come
Yes.
back for the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Ruth Baba. I'm a mother of 2 preteen boys and proudly a level 3 inner circle parent of the Intentional Parent Academy. On Tuesday, the 9th of June 2020, I stumbled upon Coach Wendy's Tuesday Live, and since then, I didn't need a soothsayer to tell me to sign up for the inner circle, and ever since, my parenting journey has taken a 360-degree turnaround. I say this because I was coming from a place of despair, frustration, filled with so much emotions because I didn't know better. I was parenting the way I was parented, and it just wasn't working. But in the inner circle, I parent with peace and calm, which you can as well. Sign up for the inner circle. Are you the only spouse on this journey? Do not be weary. Come into the inner circle. You'll be connected to seasoned coaches that will help you on this journey. Remember, you won't be the only one to influence your child. Do the work now. Childhood is short. Do the work now and rest tomorrow. They say Google is your friend, but trust me on this, you can't get this knowledge on Google because our VC, Coach Wendy, is anointed for this task and she gets the knowledge straight, undiluted from heaven. So what are you waiting for? I was a parent that never loved to read, but today I have a library filled with books to my name because you are meant to read every month in the inner circle, and not just read, but review. All these are positives, some of the positives that I can mention in the inner circle. You have nothing to lose. Spend that money wisely. Come into the inner circle. Have peace now and rest. Thank you.
Yes, and we're back. Oh my God. That was an incredible session. It's one of those sessions that make parents scream, make parents, if you know that your feathers are ruffled, or your feathers have totally been plucked off, it's okay. I like to tell you that you are in the right place. All right, Uncle Wei, thank you so much for sharing those deep things with us. I know that the comment section is buzzing with questions. I have questions of my own too. And as they are projected, we're going to ask you some of the questions. So, Uncle Wei, I have a question for you. My question is, how do you know if a teenager, for instance, is already in a cult group? How do you know? How
All
did your
right.
mother find out? How did you
For
know
every
that? How do you
All
find
right.
out?
Okay. Thank you very much for their colors. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on, sir.
Okay. So for every code group, they have their logo and they have their colors. For example, for the code group that I belong to, we have what we call the traditional color. Our traditional color is black and white, and with a black beret and a yellow stockings. So whenever I'm moving around, if I see anybody putting on yellow stockings, I automatically start suspecting that person. Most times I call them and I ask them, I use some code. There are some codes that they use. I ask him, for example, do you own any black car? That thing is called Egede. You said some of them, when they belong to the court, they tell me, yes, that the only black. Once somebody of the court is black, the court was formed 1977, July 7th, that means mentor. So if you hear a child that is always saying mentor, 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 there's a possibility that child might belong to the court.
All
So
right,
you watch out
Uncle
for
always seems to be having a network glitch, but I'm just going to share quickly some of the things I picked up from his session. All right, so I'm quickly going to run through some of the things the
I
highlights
can hear you
for me
clearly.
before I. All right, so he talked about no connection. There was no relationship between him and his mother. This is something coach is always talking about. She wrote a book on it. Connect to correct. So you cannot correct a child you have not already connected with, that you do not have a relationship with. He talked about structures. All right. To a lot of people who are just coming in for the TIP conference alone, you will not totally get what we're talking about when we talk about structures. Coach is all about structures. The TIP Academy is all about creating structures in your home, creating values in your home. So you will not really understand it if you're not in the inner circle. So I will encourage you to go and book a slot right away. All right. So Esther is saying, Uncle Owe, Esther is saying, suppose a child was initiated but is not ready to leave out. How do we help this child as a parent? Suppose a child was already initiated but is not ready to leave. How do you help a child?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I actually saw it earlier on. Actually, you can't help any child that is not willing to leave any court group. You can force a horse to the river. You can't force that horse to drink water. First, the child have to be willing to leave. He has to be willing to leave the court group. But if he's not willing, there's little you can do. The only thing you can do is to pray. They said the spiritual controls the physical. But maybe the more you pray, the more the child begins to change his mind. But basically, if the child is not willing to leave, and there's not much you can actually do. And let me quickly say that if anyone belongs to a court group in any of the Nigerian universities, there's a 70% chance that that person will get killed or will not graduate uh, within the period of the schooling. So there's a possibility that the person will either get killed before graduation or the person will not graduate successfully. 70% chance, and I have proven this, and it's all over the place.
All right. Thank you so much, Uncle Owe.
70%.
Yes.
Joy, did you hear that?
I heard. So
That's actually
what came to
scary.
my mind? What came to my mind, Coach, was that we're all about prevention here. You heard Uncle Owe. He said prevention is better than cure. And Tietima will always say, please give me the teenagers. Let me prevent, the things that are supposed to happen before they become adults. You heard Uncle PK when he said that anything after 18 years is damage control. So we don't really want to do those damage control. Coach is always saying that. So if you get into the academy and you're not even a parent yet, that is the best time for you to get into the academy. That is the best time for you to start learning how to parent, not damage control. Coach, what do you have to say?
Thank you so much, Uncle Owe, for sharing your story. I like real life stories because it gets us to the point where we get to understand some of the things that we share. Now, I've heard this story myself. I can use it to teach you, but it's not going to make the same impact like the person who have been through this thing themselves. 2 years ago, we had a parent come share with us his masturbation story. Same thing, no structure, no personal relationship with the family, always quick to judge. You know why we tell parents, don't yell, don't build relationship. You get why, though. You get why. It's not because we want you to be like Oyibo according to you. It's because if you don't, then you put your children in trouble. Uncle Uwe said 70% of children who get into court don't survive it. That's scary. 70%, he said he's proven. All right, he's done this for a while. 70% is very high. If that doesn't scare you, it does scare me. And I wrote, a note. And these things are very valid. Self-esteem, no structure. no structure is not taking your children to church or in the morning. He said something that was very striking. He said, parents don't follow up. You take your children, you just Christianity without follow up. That means you're not discipling your children. You're not discipling your children. Discipleship means follow up. Discipleship is not your jumping up and down from one corner to another. So he said one of the things he pointed out was, I wanted to tell my mom, but my mom would have judged me. So I didn't bother. And there was also a very solid point he made. He talked about mentorship. Now, if he had another person that wasn't his mother, whom he could talk to, that was a positive mentor, he wouldn't have gone here. And I like the way he said it. It's usually very hard for your child to go and come back. Very hard. I didn't say it. He said it himself. It's really very hard. And Joy, we're going to be having David on Friday. Joy is moderating that session. David is the same story. We were privileged to be at the bunk on Monday. I'm going to let Joy share that story on Friday. And scared. We're not teaching you the things that are just off on the, just don't do this. Don't do. There are reasons why we teach these things that we teach you. And these things are proven over and again. They are not stories. They are not things to just tell you, or they're not nice to hear. They are real stories. And like I often say, there are even people that will never share their story. Never. Ever. Never ever. You're never going to hear it, in a public forum like this. So you need to be grateful that you have this information at a time where you have it. Like he said, there are people listening, even now that he's sharing as well. So it's a perpetual this thing to your life. Why do you want your children to live that way? Thank you again, Uncle Uwe. I am so grateful. I am really, really grateful for your time. Thank you for doing this for the generation to come. Over to you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Academy, man.
Thank you so much, Coach. My parenting bishop. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Uncle Owe. There was something you said that really struck me, that the cost of wrong association is a disaster. The cost of wrong association is a disaster. It struck me. And then you said an unskilled child is a menace to the society. A menace to the society. And then finally, you said prevention is better than cure. Parents, did you hear that? Were you scared? Were you shouting on your seat? Were your feathers ruffled? Then it's time for you to implement all of the things that you've heard today. Thank you so much, Uncle Owe. We are excited. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for changing lives, because I'm sure from this story you shared, a lot of parents are going to take action. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we look forward to having
I saw a very funny comment in the comment section that made me laugh. Somebody said, "Oh, God of Israel, come and help us parent our children." If they like,
God will not help you parents.
God will never parent for you. You've never
God will never help you parents. Parenting is your responsibility.
It's not part of the principles. You're a co-creator. Your part is to parent. That's your part. Parenting is your sole responsibility. Get on it. That prayer point, sometimes we pray some prayers that are just very funny. Oh, God, help me. Help my children turn out right. No, God is just going to watch you. If you think I'm lying, go and ask Pastor Eli, like I like to call him. Or you go and ask King Dave. Or you go and ask Prophet Mo. All of them were all children of God, 7 generations. All right? So don't kid yourself. Go home and go and get the skills. Thank you again. Thank you. Over to you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much, Uncle Owe. We look forward to hosting you another time again. Thank you, and God bless you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to the next section. Please get your pad and be ready. All right. Over to you, Coach. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Joy Unspeakable. Joy Unspeakable is the official MC of the TIP Academy. Anywhere you see the TIP Academy doing anything, and you want to see the person on the mic, you see Joy Unspeakable. She's my friend, and I love you so much. Thank you for doing this with us. We appreciate you, Joy. And if you're looking for that MC that's going to turn your event away, make heads turn, roll, then you've got Joy Unspeakable right here video. Thank you so much. You can find her on social media as Joy Unspeakable. Uncle Way is not very active on social media, all right?
Yeah.
Or you can reach out to us if you want to reach out to him.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for doing this with us. See you in the next 4 minutes when we're going to be doing the last session with an amazing somebody that I call the Chief of Happiness. Hey, you want to be there? Thank you and see you. See you, Joy.
See you.
Hello, my name is Ruth Baba. I'm a mother of 2 preteen boys and proudly a level 3 inner circle parent of the Intentional Parent Academy. On Tuesday, the 9th of June 2020, I stumbled upon Coach Wendy's Tuesday Live, and since then, I didn't need a soothsayer to tell me to sign up for the inner circle, and ever since, my parenting journey has taken a 360-degree turnaround. I say this because I was coming from a place of despair, frustration, filled with so much emotions because I didn't know better. I was parenting the way I was parented and it just wasn't working. But in the inner circle, I parent with peace and calm, which you can as well. Sign up for the inner circle. Are you the only spouse on this journey? Do not be weary. Come into the inner circle. You'll be connected to seasoned coaches that will help you on this journey. Remember, you won't be the only one to influence your child. Do the work now. Childhood is short. Do the work now and rest tomorrow. They say Google is your friend, but trust me on this, you can't get this knowledge on Google because our VC, Coach Wendy, is anointed for this task and she gets the knowledge straight, undiluted from heaven. So what are you waiting for? I was a parent that never loved to read, but today I have a library filled with books to my name because you are meant to read every month in the inner circle and not just read, but review. All these are positives, some of the positives that I can mention in the inner circle. You have nothing to lose. Spend that money wisely. Come into the inner circle. Have peace now and rest. Thank you.